Okay. So Isaac Michalov here. I'm here with Anita. And Anita, do I have your permission so we can record? And if you're uncomfortable with this video, and I know you're uncomfortable with this video, so just let us know if you're okay with doing this.
Yes.
Okay. So Anita, we're going to jump right into this. I'm going to ask you several questions. Anita, when we initially you came to my office, we're going to talk about your areas of concern. One of your initial area of concern was primarily commissions, right? Remember that?
Yes.
Okay. So do you feel that I was paid in direct proportion to my result that I achieved for you?
You weren't paid enough.
Okay.
Absolutely, we're not paid enough for what you did.
So do you feel that the commission that I was paid was worthy of the result that I achieved for you?
As I said, I think you should have gotten more, except
Okay.
that I'm
Well,
not giving it to you. But,
I could actually charge you more.
But yes, I really thought you were overcharging, but I certainly don't feel that way now.
Okay, and we actually just closed escrow. We closed escrow yesterday. We recorded today for the record.
Hooray.
Yeah. And this was a difficult transaction because this deal had a lot of moving parts with respect to the fact that you were closing escrow on another property out of state. So let's talk about negotiations. I want to make a point. At one point, and again, just to reference, this transaction had a lot of moving points. I was helping you negotiate something with an insurance company that was you'd made a point. You said, and I never allow people to be on the phone with me. I made a specific comment to you, but the next day you and I spoke, and you said, "I can't believe how you were able to convince this person on the phone." Can you elaborate on that? Can you make reference? Do you remember that, by the way?
Yes,
I was
do.
able to.
I don't work for I did work for an insurance company, but I work for a company that deals with insurance now, and I do know that they do make some concessions, but I felt on this kind of claim that they were just going to go tell me to take a hike, and I was just amazed at the results that you got.
Okay. So how would you say I was in my communications with you? Do you feel I always kept you up to date, abreast of every single thing that was going on, good or bad?
I thought we were related. I talked to you so much.
On that note, I actually just remembered something I'm going to ask you that I didn't write down. I called you up one time, it was probably in the evening, and I said something to you, and you said, "Oh, I am so sick of this whole transaction." And you didn't see it, but I put my hand on my heart and I said, "Me?" And you said, "Oh, no, not you, your family." You remember that?
Yeah, I do.
All right, so let's talk about follow-up, and I asked you just briefly, were you kept up to date on everything?
Everything, even stuff I didn't want to be kept up to date on,
Got it.
because you said it was your responsibility,
Right.
and you did it.
Got it. Do you feel my intentions were real and authentic?
Isaac, I feel like you weren't doing anything for yourself. You were doing it all for me. There's days I couldn't believe you didn't just walk away and said, "I can't do this anymore." I know we had a contract, but seriously, it was just, amazing.
Do you feel that I was the least motivated person in the transaction as a professional person? That I took my emotion completely out and you were the top priority?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. You were there for me. You didn't do anything for you as far as I could see, because it must not have been fun.
All transactions are difficult, and no two transactions are different. Can you elaborate a little bit, because you were privy to some of the negotiations, and I never really allow that. But can you elaborate or just make a note as to some of the negotiations?
Well, we could just start with the price. While we know we priced it to get multiple offers, some of your counter offers, I said, they're going to say he's crazy. And they took them. You know what you're doing. You know how to read people. You know how to understand what the market's going to bear. And you just went right for it.
In our initial meeting, do you feel I consulted you or I was trying to sell you? Do you feel that it was important for me to walk you through the process and educate you on everything rather than just push you to do something that wasn't right for you?
You didn't push me to do anything. You explained it to me, and you gave me the choices, and you let me make up my own mind. I mean, you never really said this is what you have to do. In fact, I heard you say, well, if that's what you want to do, you know, it's not what I would recommend, but if that's what you want to do, if that's where you want me to start, if that's where you want to, you know, I'll do it your way, but, you know, here's what I think. And, you know, you didn't push, you just left the choice up to me after explaining everything.
So do you feel I was explaining what you wanted to hear rather than what you needed to hear?
No, you explained what I had to hear in order to do this right.
Can you touch a little bit, you talked a little bit about our pricing strategy, but can you talk a little bit more about that? Because we initially went back and forth on the pricing. I asked you for a couple more days, which we ended up netting close to $40,000 more. We ended up pricing it at $515, and we ended up obtaining a $540 price, and the appraisal came in at $550. So we were within an extreme proximity there. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, to me, that tells me you certainly know what you're doing. I mean, you know the market, you know what it can bear, and your strategy worked. So, I mean, how could you ask for anything more? I would have been happy to get $520. I would have been thrilled. And to get $20,000 more than that was fabulous.
Okay. Is there anything else you can say to anybody else who may be watching this, Anita?
Use Isaac. No, seriously, Isaac's the best.
Thank you. Thanks, Anita. I appreciate it.
Okay, I do not want to see it.